Hello everyone, today we are breaking down Season 3, Episode 7, Out of the Fire and Into the Frying Pan of The Witcher. But before that, remember to like the video, help us out the channel a lot, and subscribe, and yada yada yada, let's get to it. The first thing we see is Ciri. She gets dropped from the sky and is in a desert landscape. Last episode, Ciri activated a monolith and was able to escape from Vilgefortz. I originally thought she went to a different sphere, but she actually is still on the continent, just traveled to a different location. We're now at Aretuza. We are with Jaskier. He is looking for anyone he knows, Geralt, Ciri, or Yennefer. Jaskier stumbles into Radovid instead. The two didn't leave each other last episode on the best of terms. Jaskier accusing Radovid of using him. Radovid tells Jaskier what happened at Aretuza, that Dijkstra and Philippa weren't the only ones scheming here. So was Vilgefortz. Both had plans. Dijkstra and Philippa wanted to get rid of the traitors to the north, and Vilgefortz wanted to destroy the Brotherhood for Nilfgaard. Both somewhat succeeded. Radovid tells Jaskier that the Second War has begun, so Nilfgaard is going to go on the offensive once again. After their defeat at Sodden, Nilfgaard retreated. They licked their wounds and waited for the perfect time to strike, and now is that time. Jaskier decides to help Radovid out. He gives him directions on how to get back to Redania, secret roads that many don't know about. Radovid wants Jaskier to go with him, but he can't. He says he has to find his family first. He is referring to Geralt, Yennefer, and Ciri. He is like the uncle in that dynamic. Radovid wants another chance to prove to Jaskier that his feelings for him are real. Jaskier says maybe, after he finds his family. So Jaskier giving him another chance is big. It means he still has feelings for Radovid as well. Jaskier leaves and he finds Yennefer. Jaskier asks about Geralt and Ciri. Yennefer gives him the rundown. Ciri is missing. She was last seen at Tor Lara, but the tower exploded. Yennefer searched the rubble but was unable to find her. Geralt was badly injured in his fight with Vilgefortz. Triss is taking him to Brokilon to heal. Brokilon is where the Dryads live, who we saw in Season 1. They are exclusively female and are the nymphs of the forest. We're now with Geralt and he is at Brokilon and the Dryads are taking care of him. Mother Ithne is looking over him. She is the ruler or queen of Brokilon. Another Dryad starts to smell Geralt and says he is not wounded. He is dying. Not exactly sure what that means, but Vilgefortz did stab him with his staff last episode, so maybe he was poisoned by it. Ithne calls him an old friend, which is why they are trying to help him. This whole thing makes much more sense in the books, because in the books when Ciri was at Brokilon, Geralt was there as well. It is actually the place where the two first meet. In the show, Geralt is not around when Ciri is at Brokilon, so it just doesn't work as well. Geralt tells them not to waste their time. Geralt is sad, he feels like he failed Ciri. Ithne says it's not a waste, Gwynblade. Gwynblade is Elven for the White Wolf, which is one of Geralt's nicknames. Ithne then says Triss left this for him, and she pulls out a brooch. This was actually Renfri's brooch from Season 1. Geralt always kept it on his sword to remind him to stay out of affairs that don't involve him, to stay neutral. His sword was broken last episode, so Triss took it off for him. We are back with Ciri. She awakes from being thrown from the sky. She yells for Geralt and Yen, but no answer. She is all alone. She knows where she is from the red sand, Korath. So Ciri basically traveled across the continent. She was very far north, but is now very far south. It is nicknamed the Frying Pan, so Ciri is going to have a rough go of it. She starts going through her pockets looking for a coin, a talisman thing. Yennefer earlier this season put a locator spell on it. She told Ciri all she has to do is say the spell and Yennefer can find her. Ciri says the spell and nothing happens, so there must be a time limit to how long that spell lasts. Ciri starts to walk and then she passes out. She awakes and is badly burned. She notices footprints, so it seems something was near her when she was napping. She yells hello, but no answer. Ciri goes through her belongings and finds some kind of cream or moisturizer and starts putting it on her sunburned face. She then starts eating from that container, realizing there is water in this moisturizer, quenching her thirst for the time being. She says she has to get back to Geralt and Yennefer. They need her. Last episode, Ciri had a dream that the two were both dead. And Ciri's dreams tend to come true, so she wants to do all she can to prevent that from happening. Ciri comes up with a plan. She knows Korath is east and the sun sets in the west. So if she follows the setting sun, she will hit mountains, and of course there will be more food and water in that terrain than where she currently is. It is now night and Ciri is still walking. She is singing a song out loud, just a tip, but never sing out loud when water is limited, it's just a bad idea. She is thinking about Geralt and Yennefer, the family dinners, the ice skating, the happy memories she had with them earlier this season. That was the first time since the slaughter of Sintra that Ciri felt like she had a real family, and she is scared that she will not make it back to them. She uses that as motivation to keep going, to keep walking. It is now morning, she stumbles upon some rocks. One of the Witchers she met at Kaer Morhen last season, Cohen, gave her a survival tip about morning dew. And he was right, Ciri is able to get some water off these rocks. Ciri keeps walking and runs into the container she left the day prior. Somehow she got turned around in the middle of the night and is back where she started, which is quite demoralizing. She tells herself that she will not die in this desert. She will get out of here. She sees the tracks again from some other being. Her plan now is to follow the tracks to get out of the desert. Honestly, I think her first plan makes way more sense, but sure, we'll go with that for now. Ciri continues walking and sees a pool of water. She runs to it. She puts her hands in it and it's all gooey. We hear a horse neighing. Ciri turns around to see it, and it's actually a unicorn. Ciri then sees teeth start to come out of the sand. Ciri dodges out of the way as the mouth of this creature closes. Ciri realizes that the unicorn is who she has been following. She thanks the unicorn for saving her. If it wasn't for the neighing, she would have still been focused on the fake water and would have been swallowed up. Ciri thought the unicorn would be bigger. There was books at Kaer Morhen of unicorns and they looked a lot bigger. That's why she's saying this. So she starts calling it Little Horse. The unicorn runs off and Ciri follows. Unicorns are different from horses in The Witcher. It is said only virgins can capture unicorns, but this is just a lie. They only go up to people who are good of heart. The unicorn disappears and Ciri is not sure if it was a hallucination or not. Ciri comes across a rocky terrain, where she finds a lizard. She chases after it, but it gets away. But she finds its eggs and starts chowing down. Ciri hears a voice and turns around. It is her mother Pavetta. So the sun is getting to Ciri, having visions of her dead mother and all. Pavetta starts being really rude to Ciri, saying how nothing is enough for the girl. That Geralt was probably relieved when he saw her enter Torlara, so he wouldn't have to see her again. This could be coming from her subconscious. Maybe this is what she believes, that Geralt and Yen would have easier lives without her. But she argues with Pavetta, saying Geralt and Yen need her. So I think it is something else that gets revealed later in the episode. Pavetta disappears. Ciri sees that the lizard has come out of hiding. She kills it and eats it raw. Later, we see Ciri puke it up. She's now having another hallucination. She is in a room with a woman with a cloak covering her face. The woman says not to eat the lizards, they are poisonous. So could this mean this woman is not just in Ciri's mind? Because she is bringing new info to the table. Maybe this woman is a ghost of some kind. She tells Ciri that the future depends on what Ciri decides. She then says history tends to repeat itself, that they have stuff in common. They are both insane princesses, abandoned by the people who were supposed to protect them, and royally effed over by their families. The woman says her father failed her the most, that he was just a spoke in the wheel that had been rolling for generations. Ciri says she believes she has the power to change things, and the woman agrees with her. This is kind of similar to the speech Daenerys gives in Game of Thrones. She's going to break the wheel and stop the never-ending cycle of violence. That Ciri believes she can unite the elves and humans of the continent since she is part of both races, and make the continent a better place for everyone. The lady disappears and Ciri is back in the desert. Ciri awakes from her slumber and is met by the unicorn. The unicorn starts walking away again and Ciri follows. The unicorn leads her to some palm trees. Ciri can feel the chaos coming from the water vein below the earth. She starts to dig at the sand and the water appears. She drinks deeply and then gives the unicorn some water as well. Mages gather chaos from the air, the earth, and water. Each one has a distinct feeling when you're pulling from one. That is why Ciri knew there was water underneath them. Ciri continues to travel with the unicorn. She tells Little Horse to wait while she looks for food on this rocky terrain. Ciri has another hallucination, this time of her grandmother Calanthe. Ciri knows it is an illusion, but can't help but interact with it. Calanthe also starts being really rude to Ciri, saying how people fear her, how she has done nothing to prepare herself for the coming wars. Ciri blows up at Calanthe, saying she led herself and Cintra into dust and oblivion, that she ruled by hubris and fear. She let history repeat itself when she had many of the elves in the Cintra territory killed. So there are similar themes here between Calanthe and Pavetta's interactions with Ciri. Both state how nobody wants her and she kind of sucks. But it is when Ciri goes back at Calanthe that we see her use the phrase the woman in the cloak used, letting history repeat itself and how there is a cycle of violence. Is the woman in the cloak this ghostly figure trying to manipulate Ciri? Something to think about. It is later that night, and the woman in the cloak visits Ciri. The lady says Ciri is powerful, and she was once powerful too. The woman says she was supposed to be queen, but her father denied her her destiny. She then rallied the common folk and took back what was hers rightfully, with blood and fire. She then says it was fitting since she was burned at the stake later. Ciri knows who this is. It is Falca, who is a quarter elf. After her father denied her her birthright, she killed him, her two half-brothers, and her stepmother. Ciri knows her bloody past. Falca tells her those stories were exaggerated. Fake news. She then states what she sees when looking at Ciri. A child whose family ran her through the meat grinder. They made her feel shame instead of pride. She tells Ciri if she wants to change the system, she has to burn it to the ground. So I think it's quite clear that Falca is trying to manipulate Ciri. It is the next day and the unicorn wakes Ciri up, and the two continue their journey. They are walking in a canyon when Ciri realizes something is not right. A scorpion-like monster comes out of the sand. It is giant and starts to attack the duo. I couldn't find the name of this monster anywhere. I even looked in the book, and all they said was that it is the most disgusting monster to look at, which I would say is accurate. The unicorn is kicking at it, trying to fight it off, but the creature stabs the back of the unicorn, causing it to fall. Ciri starts to use chaos to fight the creature. She rips off one of its scales, I think, and bashes its head in with it. Ciri goes up to the injured unicorn. She puts a bandage over its wound, hoping to slow down the bleeding. The two continue walking to find a better place to camp for the night. Ciri starts a fire and the unicorn is laying down. Ciri looks at the wound and it looks worse. It does not look like Little Horse is going to make it. Falca returns to Ciri at this moment. Falca tells her to use fire magic to save the unicorn. Ciri does not want to. It's forbidden. Yennefer told her never to use it. It is very dangerous. But Falca convinces her, saying the unicorn will die if you don't. Ciri harnesses the power. It is quite euphoric. She has never felt anything like this before. She goes to Little Horse and saves its life, healing the wound. The unicorn gets up and runs away from Ciri. As I said, unicorns only like good-hearted people. When one harnesses fire magic, it corrupts the person a bit. Ciri is intoxicated by the power. Falca talks it up as well, saying how amazing it feels. She then tells Ciri how they killed Lara Doran and her for this gift. But Ciri will change everything. She then pushes Ciri into the fire and Ciri has some visions, with Falca doing the voiceover. She says Ciri will get her revenge on the people who have hurt her, like Vilgefortz and Cahir, which Ciri is for. But then Falca says those she loves will betray her too, like Jaskier, Yennefer, and Geralt. And Ciri sees the three be executed. Ciri is not happy about this. Ciri says she will not give up on her family. Falca says they will only hold her back, but Ciri does not care. She doesn't care about destiny or prophecy anymore. Ciri says she relinquishes her powers, and everything goes black. So there's quite a lot to unpack here. Was Falca a spirit trying to get Ciri to do her bidding, or was the fire itself to blame, manifesting itself as Falca to get to Ciri, hoping Ciri would be so intoxicated by the power she would burn everything and everyone? I honestly do not know. If you guys have any thoughts, leave it down in the comments below. Ciri is awakened by some travelers. They are staring at her. They say this is the girl he is looking for and grab Ciri. So they are most likely talking about Emhyr. The Nilfgaard Empire is in the southern part of the continent, so I'm sure people know that the Emperor is looking for Ciri. I'm sure if these guys bring her to him, they will get a pretty good reward. We're now with Jaskier. He's trying to enter the Brokilon forest to go see Geralt. The Dryads tell him to leave or he will die. Jaskier starts singing a song in Elven. The Dryads start lowering their bows. They are quite taken by his voice. Some of them even cry. A higher ranked dryad comes to let him in. They know he is here for Geralt. Jaskier sees Geralt and he is not doing well. Jaskier tells him that they don't know where Ciri is and that Yennefer is hunting for her. Jaskier gives Geralt a letter from Emperor Emhyr, that they are going to have a celebration, that Ciri is on her way to Nilfgaard. So it seems Emhyr has finally gotten what he wants, to be reunited with his daughter. Geralt does not look too thrilled about this. And that is the end of episode 7 of The Witcher. What do you think of it? Leave it down in the comments below, and if you want more Witcher content, please subscribe and like the video. Check out the Twitter link in the description below, and as always, have an awesome day.